What if I told you the reason your chronic pain hasn't gone away has nothing to do with your knees, back, or hips? You've gone to the doctor, you've taken the pills, maybe even tried surgery, but the pain always finds a way back, creeping into your mornings, disturbing your sleep, stealing your energy. That's not just aging. It might be something far more basic, something under your feet, literally. I'm Dr. Robert Klein. I'm 4 years old, and I've practiced physical medicine and rehabilitation for over 42 years in Fort Collins, Colorado. I've treated over 18,000 seniors with chronic pain, people just like you, who felt stuck, exhausted, and dismissed. And yet the most powerful recovery I've ever witnessed began with the foot, not the spine, not the joint, the foot. To be honest, I didn't believe it at first either. I was trained in Western science. I believed in MRIs and muscle scans and nerve blocks. But what do you do when nothing works? You listen, especially when your patients start getting better. From something as simple as a foot patch. If you're watching this right now and wondering, how could something on my foot affect the pain in my back or neck? Please stay with me. That question changed my career. You see, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here because I still believe you deserve a life without pain. Because I still see patients every morning, and I still walk up 2 flights of stairs daily without assistance. And I want you to know it's possible. This video isn't just about another remedy. It's about a new way of understanding your body. One that might finally explain why the pain won't go away and what you can do about it. If you've ever thought, this just doesn't make sense, I've done everything they told me to, and I still hurt, then this video was made for you. Let's start at the root, quite literally. If that sounds like your story, type yes in the comments. Let's figure this out together. For decades, we've been trained to chase pain. Your shoulder hurts, treat the shoulder. Your back aches, get an injection there, your knees are stiff. Time for another round of anti-inflammatories. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Pain doesn't always come from the place you feel it. Sometimes it echoes from somewhere else entirely, just like a leak in your roof. Doesn't mean the hole is right above the drip. Let me tell you about Janet. She's 67, a retired school counselor from Minneapolis. She came into my clinic, barely able to sit through a 15-minute appointment. Her lower back felt like it was on fire, especially when she tried to stand after resting. But after scans, therapy, and even a cortisone injection, nothing changed. So we looked somewhere no one else had thought to check her feet. Janet had flat arches, the kind that collapse subtly over time. She hadn't noticed, but her gait had shifted. Her knees rotated inward. Her hips began compensating. Eventually, her lower back started screaming. This is what I call the pain echo. The foot falters, but the back pays the price. And here's why that happens, especially in older adults. After the age of 60, the fat pads beneath your heels shrink by as much as 50%. This is your body's built-in shock absorber, like the sole of a sneaker. When it disappears, every step you take sends more stress upward to your knees, your hips, and your spine. On top of that, your feet contain over 7,000 nerve endings. That's more than your hands. These nerves send constant updates to your brain about posture, pressure, and balance. But if those signals become noisy or dull, your brain makes poor decisions about movement. You compensate without realizing it. Your posture shifts, your muscles tighten, and pain becomes your new normal. And yet, we rarely talk about the feet. We obsess over the spine, the joints, the muscles, while the foundation underneath us is crumbling. Imagine trying to fix a crooked painting on a wall when the whole house is tilted. So let me ask you something simple. When was the last time a doctor examined the bottom of your foot to understand your back pain? Exactly. The foot is the most ignored source of systemic pain in the elderly and one of the most fixable. And that's why what I'm about to show you next matters so much, because once you shift the foundation, the entire structure begins to heal. If this just made you rethink where your pain might be coming from, hit the like button. We're just getting started. Some of the most important warning signs of foot dysfunction don't show up in the feed at all. That's why So many people, especially seniors, miss them. We chalk it up to just getting older or think it's due to an old injury. But what if these symptoms were actually your body's early distress signals coming from the base? Let's talk about 5 of the most common signs I see in patients whose pain turns out to be foot-related. 1. You wake up with stiff or painful knees, even after a full night of rest. This is often mistaken for arthritis flare-ups. But if your feet aren't absorbing shock properly overnight, your knees stay slightly misaligned even while you sleep too. Your lower back burns or aches after sitting for 20 plus minutes. You stand up and suddenly there's that dull nagging pain. It might not be your back muscles. It could be your posture shifting to compensate for weak foot support. 3. You feel off balance, especially in the dark or on uneven surfaces. A healthy foot sends real-time feedback to your brain about where you are in space. When that signal weakens, your balance suffers, even if your legs feel strong. 4. You feel tension in your shoulders or neck for no clear reason. Yes, this one surprises people, but fascial tension can run from your heels up through your calves, hips, spine, and all the way into your traps and neck. Tight feet, tight neck over time. 5. You have trouble falling or staying asleep due to unexplained restlessness in your legs. This may be your nervous system reacting to poor input from the soles of your feet, keeping your body on edge even when you're lying down. I can't tell you how many patients have looked at me in disbelief when I suggest that their stiff hips or bad sleep might have something to do with their feet. But after we addressed the feet realigned posture, stimulated reflex zones, improved hydration and circulation, suddenly things started changing. The knee pain eased, the sleep returned, the brain fog lifted. It's not magic. It's mechanics. When the foundation works, everything else has a chance to realign. So if any of these symptoms sound familiar, don't brush them off as normal aging. They might be your body whispering something important. Have you felt any of these signs recently? If yes, drop A in the comments. Your body might be telling you more than you think. Now that we've uncovered the overlooked symptoms, let's talk about why they happen. Because once you understand the real causes, not just the surface level explanations, you stop feeling helpless. You start seeing patterns. And more importantly, you see hope. Here are the 4 most common and fixable root causes of chronic pain in seniors that stem from the feet. 1. Fat pad loss. Your shock absorber is gone. By the time most people hit 65, they've lost up to half the fatty cushioning beneath their heels. This isn't just a cosmetic issue. It's a mechanical one. Imagine your foot as a car tire. Now imagine driving on a rim instead of rubber. Every step, every staircase, every misstep sends vibrations upward into your knees, hips, and spine. Without this built-in padding, your body absorbs more impact than it was designed for. Over time, this creates joint fatigue, inflammation, and persistent discomfort. And you'll feel it most when walking on hard surfaces like tile concrete or even hardwood floors. 2. Neurological disconnection. Faulty wiring. From the ground up, your feet are loaded with nerve endings, over 7,000 in each foot. These aren't just for feeling textures. They help your brain make moment-to-moment decisions about how to move, balance, and react. But when those nerve signals become dulled due to aging, poor circulation, or diabetes, the brain gets fuzzy input. It's like trying to navigate with a foggy GPS. That miscommunication leads to overcompensation. Your hips shift, your shoulders tighten, your spine curves, and eventually pain becomes a side effect of confusion. In some patients, this shows up as poor coordination. In others, it's mysterious, back or joint pain with no clear cause. 3. Fascial chain. Tension. A pulled thread affects the whole fabric. Think of fascia as the body's internal web. It wraps around muscles, bones, and organs, connecting your heel to your head. When tension builds in your feet, whether from flat arches, stiff toes, or poor alignment, it tugs on this web. Like pulling a thread in a sweater, the tension travels tight. Fascia in your soles can lead to overactive calves, unstable hips, and even tension headaches. I've seen patients whose migraines improved after we released tension in their feet. It's all connected. 4. Circulatory stagnation. When blood doesn't flow, pain grows. Your blood is your body's delivery service. It brings oxygen and nutrients and takes away waste and inflammation. But aging feet often suffer from poor circulation. Cold toes, numbness, swelling. These are warning signs. And when blood flow slows in your extremities, inflammation stays longer. Healing slows down. Pain lingers. In one study at the University of Michigan, researchers found that daily stimulation of foot reflex zones improved systemic circulation in seniors by 23% and reduced reported pain by 37% in just 4 weeks. That's a big return for something so simple. Why this matters. We've been taught to treat pain at the surface pills, braces, hot packs. But these are temporary silences, not true solutions. When you start addressing these root issues, loss of padding, neurological feedback, fascial tension, and circulation, you're no longer treating symptoms. You're rebuilding the foundation. Metaphor, time. If your body were a computer, your feet would be the keyboard. Now imagine trying to type an email with half the keys stuck. Of course, the message gets scrambled. Of course, errors pile up. Fix the keyboard, and suddenly everything above starts to function better. The next part might surprise you. Stick with me. We're about to talk about the 7 most common mistakes seniors make that actually make the pain worse. When it comes to chronic pain, especially in older adults, the difference between healing and suffering often comes down to habits, most of which were learned with good intentions but outdated knowledge. Over the years, I've seen countless seniors fall into the same traps, not because they were careless, but because no one ever told them there was a better way. Today, I want to walk you through 7 of the most common mistakes I see and show you what to do instead. Each one might seem small, but together, they can make or break your recovery. The first mistake is trying to fix the pain, right where it hurts. This belief seems logical. If your knees hurt, you ice your knees. If your neck is stiff, you stretch your neck. But what if that pain is just a signal from somewhere else? I had a patient, Ron, who stretched his lower back for years, but never got relief. Once we focused on releasing tension in his calves and soles, his back started to loosen for the first time in a decade. The truth is, pain often reflects compensation patterns, not damage in the painful area. The better swap is to address the full movement chain, starting with the feet. The second mistake is focusing only on the spine or joints without checking the foundation underneath. Back pain is the #1 complaint among seniors, so naturally, most treatment plans focus on lumbar support belts, core exercises, and even injections. But what if the problem is downstream? Your spine rests on your pelvis, which rests on your feet. If your foot is collapsing or misaligned, your back will always be fighting to stay upright. I had a woman named Claire, 71, whose MRI showed a disc degeneration, but we saw no improvement until we used foot reflex therapy and arch support. Once her feet stabilized, her back followed. The solution isn't to ignore your spine, but to include your feet in the conversation. The third mistake is relying on orthopedic shoes while neglecting actual foot strength. Many seniors invest in expensive shoes with thick soles and high arch supports. While these can be helpful in the short term, they often weaken your foot muscles over time. Think of it like wearing a neck brace all day. You stop using the muscles that keep you upright. The truth is, support is not a substitute for strength. Instead of just wearing better shoes, add in short barefoot exercises on safe surfaces or use balance pads to activate dormant muscles. The fourth mistake is over-medicating without investigating movement patterns. Painkillers, anti-inflammatories, and even sleep aids are some of the most prescribed medications for seniors. But many of these only mask the signals. One patient, David, was taking 4 different medications and still couldn't sleep due to shoulder pain. Once we adjusted his gait, stimulated his foot reflex points, and changed his sleeping posture, he was off 2 of those meds in a month. Medications can help in emergencies, but they are not long-term strategies. The real fix lies in your daily movement. The fifth mistake is ignoring early signs in your feet. Tingling toes, cold soles, or a dull ache at the ball of the foot. These are not just quirks of aging. They're messages. I once treated a retired teacher named Susan who had frequent falls. No one thought to check her nerve feedback from the soles. Turns out she had early-stage peripheral neuropathy. By increasing foot stimulation and hydration, we dramatically improved her balance in 6 weeks. If your feet are giving you hints, listen now, before they start shouting. The sixth mistake is assuming that foot problems must cause foot pain. This is one of the most misleading beliefs. Many of my patients had no foot discomfort at all until I pressed on specific reflex zones. Some were shocked that a gentle press on their heel would shoot pain into their hip or shoulder. Others had neck tightness that melted away after rolling their arches with a simple ball. The body is wired in surprising ways. Do not wait for your feet to hurt before giving them attention. The final mistake is giving up and chalking it all up to age. This one breaks my heart the most. So many people silently decide that their pain is just the price of growing older. But aging does not mean surrendering. The body is astonishingly adaptive. At any age, I've worked with 85-year-olds who regained mobility with consistent foot routines, water intake, and simple walking programs. You're not too old. You're just missing the full picture. It's never too late to change course. If any of these insights made you pause and think you're not alone, most of the seniors I've worked with have had one or more of these habits for decades. That's not a failure. It's a sign that our health system hasn't prioritized functional education. But now you know. And that knowledge is the first step toward real lasting improvement. In the next part of this video, I'm going to walk you through what to do instead. Not just what to avoid, but what to practice, repeat, and master. From specific movements to powerful hydration habits and mindset shifts, we'll lay out a roadmap that doesn't rely on magic, just simple evidence-based consistency. So if any of these 7 mistakes surprised you, made you nod, or even made you feel a little bit seen, you're in the right place. You can start again. And the change begins with a new choice, starting from the ground up. If one of these sounded exactly like something you've been doing, drop a wow in the comments. That moment of recognition is where healing begins. Now that we've uncovered the mistakes, let's shift gears. Because real healing doesn't just happen when you stop doing the wrong things. It happens when you start doing the right ones day after day. Over the past decade, I've refined a system that has worked consistently for hundreds of my patients over 65. It's not about extreme diets or complex routines. It's built on 4 pillars, simple habits that anyone can start today. When practiced consistently, these small actions create a powerful ripple effect through the entire body. The first pillar is targeted foot stimulation using a simple foot patch. You don't need an expensive or specialized product. Any standard pharmacy-grade pain relief patch will do, as long as it's not too harsh on your skin. The secret lies in when, where, and how you use it. For lower back pain, place the patch at the center of your heel in the arch just behind the ball of your foot. For knee issues, focus on the center of the arch about 2 inches below the base of your toes. For neck and shoulder pain, target the area beneath the big toe and the outer edge near the pinky toe. The best time to apply is between 9 and 10 p.m. Keep it on overnight, about 8 to 10 hours, then remove in the morning. Do this nightly for the first week, then every other night afterward. This routine doesn't just relieve pain. It resets neurological feedback from the ground up. The second pillar is hydration and anti-inflammatory nutrition. Many seniors drastically underestimate the role hydration plays in pain relief. Water helps carry away inflammatory waste products. It keeps tissues flexible and supports nerve communication. Aim for at least 8 glasses a day, starting with 1 glass of warm water upon waking. Avoid drinking large amounts late at night, but stay consistent during the day. Add lemon slices, cucumber, or a pinch of Himalayan salt to enhance absorption. As for food, focus on anti-inflammatory choices. Wild salmon walnuts, blueberries, ginger tea, and turmeric are excellent. Limit sugar, processed snacks, and dairy. If you notice they increase stiffness, the change doesn't need to be dramatic. It just needs to be daily. The third pillar is smart movement. I'm not talking about hour-long workouts or advanced yoga. I mean tiny strategic movements that support foot mechanics and restore blood flow. Start every morning with 1 minute of ankle circles 10 times clockwise, 10 times counterclockwise. This wakes up the foot-ankle-calf chain and prepares it for walking. In the afternoon, sit and roll a tennis ball gently under each foot for 2 minutes. This improves reflex activation and circulation. 3 times a week, go for a walk. Start with 5 minutes, build up to 20. If you need assistance, walk indoors, along a hallway, or with a walker. The key is not intensity, but consistency. The fourth pillar is a shift in mindset. Too many people give up because they believe their body is broken. But your body is responding to how you've treated it. When you start treating it with attention, movement, hydration, and rest, it responds. One helpful trick is to keep a small notebook beside your bed. Every night, jot down one thing you were able to do today that felt better than last week. It could be stood up without groaning or walked to the mailbox without pain. These moments build confidence. Also include your family if possible. Let them join you on short walks or stretch with you before bed. Community and connection make change sustainable. Together, these 4 pillars create a healing environment inside your body. They're not just a bandage. They support your nervous system, circulation, posture, and mental state. Best of all, they cost little to nothing and can be done from home. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to anchor your day in small healing actions. Think of it like brushing your teeth done daily. The benefits are profound over time. If you're wondering where to begin, start tonight. Apply the foot patch. Set out a water bottle for the morning. Keep a tennis ball by your favorite chair. Small setups make the habits easier to keep. This is how real change begins, not with dramatic declarations, but with quiet, repeated care. Which of these 4 pillars speaks to you the most? Whichever it is, start there. Let your body meet you where you are. Now, in the next part of this video, I'm going to share the story of someone just like you. Someone who doubted started small and slowly, steadily turned their pain into progress. Let me introduce you to someone who once felt just like you might feel right now. Her name is Helen Morris. She's 79 years old and lives in a small town outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. For the better part of 6 years, Helen was convinced her active life was over. Chronic hip pain, stiffness in her knees and lower back, aches kept her housebound most days. She used a walker, even for short trips to the mailbox. Climbing stairs was out of the question. But what hurt most wasn't the pain itself. It was the feeling that she was becoming invisible, even to her own family. Then something changed. One afternoon, her grandson showed her a health video on YouTube. It was about foot health, something Helen had never once considered. She didn't expect much. In fact, she almost closed the video after the first minute. But something in the doctor's voice, the way he explained how foot misalignment could echo upward into the back, and hips made her pause. It made her curious. That night, Helen asked her daughter to pick up a box of foot patches from the pharmacy. She followed the instructions closely, applying the patches at night, drinking warm water in the morning, and writing down how she felt each day in a little notebook. She also started rotating her ankles every morning before breakfast and taking short 3-minute walks around her kitchen, nothing major. Just consistency. By the end of the second week, she noticed something unusual. She wasn't reaching for her walker quite as often. Her knees felt looser. She even caught herself humming while cooking something she hadn't done in years after 1 month. Helen walked to her mailbox and back without help. Not once, but twice. That afternoon, she called her daughter and cried. She said, "I thought this was how I'd end my life in pain, watching from the window. But now, I'm making plans again." 3 months later, Helen was able to attend her great-granddaughter's dance recital. She walked into the auditorium with confidence. She even stood up to take photos. She told me afterward, "It wasn't just about the pain. It was about getting a part of myself back." Helen is not an exception. She didn't have special genes or more money or better access. What she had was a moment of willingness, a decision to try. And then she kept going quietly, daily patiently. If you've ever felt like your story is already written, let me tell you, it's not. Not yet. You get to write the next chapter. And the one after that. In the next part of this video, I'll walk you through what's happening behind the scenes when this approach works. We'll look at the science, why the foot matters so much, and how a small change down there can mean a massive change everywhere else. Pain doesn't just live in the body. It seeps into your thoughts, your sleep, your confidence. It makes simple joys feel far away. It turns walking to the mailbox into a daunting task. It dims the light in your eyes and makes you question if things will ever get better. But here's what I want you to hold on to: that your body is not giving up. It's asking for help. And even now, no matter how long it's been hurting, it still has the ability to heal one small, consistent step at a time. You don't need to do everything at once. You don't need to be perfect. What you need is a little bit of willingness and a little bit of belief. Begin with something simple. Tonight, apply a patch to the right spot on your foot. Drink a glass of warm water when you wake up. Stretch your ankles before you walk. Keep a small notebook. These are not just rituals. They are signals to your body that you are listening. And when you listen, the body responds. The foot may seem like such a small, humble part of the body, but it is your foundation. It carries you through every moment. It connects to every part of your posture, every step of your life. When you care for it, you are not just addressing pain. You are reclaiming stability, dignity, and independence. This journey is not about chasing youth. It is about honoring the body you have and giving it what it needs to support you with grace. So if today felt like a wake-up call, then let tonight be a beginning, quiet, personal, and full of possibility. Because the next chapter of your health story doesn't have to be written by pain. It can be written by choice, and in that choice, there's power. In the final part of this video, I'll explain how you can take action right now and how to help others in your life who may be silently suffering. Let's finish strong together. If you've made it this far in the video, I want to thank you, not just for listening, but for caring enough about your own body to stay with this message until the end. That already tells me something important about you. You're not someone who gives up easily. You are someone who is still searching for answers. And now you have a starting point. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Healing never begins with grand gestures. It begins quietly with a single choice. So tonight, I invite you to begin. Apply your first foot patch before bed. Set out a glass or bottle of water where you'll see it first thing in the morning. Do 1 minute of ankle circles before you take your first steps. And most importantly, notice how your body feels. These are your signals. Listen to them. If you felt a connection to anything you heard today, please take a moment to leave a comment below and simply write, "I'm ready." That one sentence can be the first commitment you make to yourself. And if there's someone in your life who is living with quiet pain, a parent, a partner, a neighbor, please share this video with them. You may not realize how much they need it until you do. Also, if you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to this channel. We're creating an entire series of practical, science-backed tools to help you live with more comfort, clarity, and control. You deserve guidance that respects your age, your experience, and your wisdom. This isn't the end. It's just the first chapter of a new kind of health story. One that honors your body, strengthens your spirit, and restores the confidence to move again. Let's keep walking this road together. You're not alone and you're not too late. You're exactly on time.